My name is Amy Palazzolo. I lead our global transformation office for our technology and software platform organization at Ford. We've got well over 10,000 employees that are in our organization and have been part of this transition. I'll share with you today a bit of our story in terms of where we've been and where we're planning to go in the future. These are some of the highlights of our journey. In addition to making really great progress on our Basecamp progression, we continue to perform in the top third of Rally's Software Development Productivity Index, both in predictability, productivity, and responsiveness. This has been a key metric for us to keep an eye on. Are we producing the results that we wanted from that investment? We also have great feedback from our employees on the change. We do a corporate survey on a regular basis on employee sentiment called our Pulse survey. Our team continues to trend higher year over year and also consistently scores higher than the rest of the Ford organization. So we know that we're doing the right thing from a people perspective with that result as well. The other thing that we have seen, and COVID was actually a pretty interesting and early test of this for us, is our teams are able to pivot their backlogs and work on new business priorities rather quickly. So as we had the challenge with COVID and working remotely, we had to do a number of things like retrofit our plants for manufacturing personal protective equipment, for credit extensions for our customers, and working from home capabilities, and all of that transition happened quite naturally for us, and we believe that was largely due to the investment that we made in this transformation. So our timing was great. We've recently been more focused on how do we step up and look at some of our enterprise processes that also need to adjust to work in a product model. So for us, this consists of our investment process, how we manage our financials, and how we look at value realization. If you may have heard in a prior talk today, as you work your teams through the Basecamp progression, you also need to pay attention to how do you need to shift your organization so that those teams aren't constrained by some of the organization process. So this aligns very closely with the Summit 2 work that you may have heard about a little earlier in the talk. So let me walk you through what this journey looks like for us, because this is a pretty exciting change that we're in the middle of right now. So it really starts with building on the success that we've had to date. So without having all the great progress and wins on our Basecamp progression, we would not be able to undertake this change. So really excited that we have that foundation to build upon. Now we have the privilege of asking ourselves, are we building the right things? So there's a number of problems that we're looking to address as we step into this next part of the journey, which we've termed PDO Next. The first is our funding model. So we've been operating in a project model like many organizations for a number of years. We know that that's constraining our teams today in terms of, one, how they deliver value to their customers, but it also creates a lot of extra overhead in terms of how we manage and report on our work accurately. So one of the key steps we're taking with PDO Next is to streamline our funding model. This means that we're moving to a model where our teams are fully funded and we bring work to mature, persistent teams. We have a number of tools that we had used previously in our project model, which we're also going to be replacing and simplifying the way that we manage both our forecasts and our actuals, as well as our capitalization reporting. So really excited about those changes, and we've had a number of key partners in the organization working really hard to bring this to life for us. The other key area of change for us with PDO Next and this next part of our enterprise level change is aligning all of the work that our teams do to our customer needs, for one, as well as our corporate strategy. So we're using something we call a value proposition and OKR, or objective and key result framework, as we think about the new demand that we want to satisfy, placing the customer at the center of that. What are the problems that we want to solve for those customers? How do we express those as a value proposition? And then how do we understand where do we have capability gaps? So, again, leveraging our business architecture work and then formulating OKRs around closing those gaps. The other really cool thing about this change is that it will no longer be an annual process. We will begin to look at those priorities and the key results on a quarterly basis and make adjustments to make sure that our teams continue to focus on delivering the highest value opportunities that we have. You'll notice in this diagram, we do have a little symbol called KPI. It's really important to us that we continue to run and protect the business. And so we're leveraging a bunch of work that we did in the first part of the transformation to understand the KPIs for our products and services to make sure that we keep those products and services healthy in addition to advancing them. Last on this slide is the third area, which is our measures of success. Really, the key shift here that we're making is moving to where we're looking at leading indicators. So in addition to understanding, are we keeping our products and services healthy through our KPIs? How do we keep an eye on those leading indicators to know as we advance our capabilities, are we on the right track? What are we learning? And how do we adjust based on that feedback? And last but not least, we'll continue to report on our financials. We're just going to do that in a much simpler way going forward. The other thing I wanted to point out at the bottom of this slide is a real shift in perspective that we're making in our organization. So we started from a place at the beginning of our transformation where we basically did work. People brought us money and requirements, and we did work for them. As we make this change, both with the Basecamp progression, as well as this work with PDO Next that aligns to Summit 2, we really begin to shift to solving problems for our customers and creating change and value for the organization. So leveraging the full power of our teams to solve our customers' problems is one of the more exciting things for me as we go through this journey.